Hello, and welcome to Weed and Grub.
I do want to talk about Kane's penalty kick.
Yep.
Because we went to the World Cup game together. And
right.
shout out to the village.
At a bar.
Yes. I mean, yes, exactly. But I knew he was going to miss the kick. I knew it. And I didn't want to say it out loud because then I would feel like I'm jinxing it. But I knew he was going to miss the kick because he had psyched himself out before he even took a swipe at the ball.
You feel like you could see that happen based on just what you could see on TV. You watched him psych himself out.
Yes. Well, so in the very first penalty kick, he set the ball up, they blew the whistle, and then he went up and touched the ball again.
Mm-hmm.
And I truly feel like that was him being indecisive and having to reset his breath and reset his brain. I don't think it was a play at psyching the goalie out or doing anything. I think that the nerves were at an all-time high for him.
Yep.
He executed that one. The second kick, I think he psyched himself out because when you're in, it's as much of a mental game as it is a physical game at that point because it's just you and the goalie. And I think he couldn't decide if he was going to go same spot as the first goal or if he was going to switch it up. And then he was wondering, is the goalie going to think I'm going to go to the same spot or switch it up?
And we should note that in the first penalty kick, for anyone who didn't watch the World Cup England versus France match, in that first penalty kick, the goalie went the other way.
Yes, he
actually he faked the goalie out.
Yeah.
So that's an added layer, right? He's like, oh, I got him so good last time. What am I going to do this time?
Yeah. And so he really chess moved himself off the board because by the time he made a decision, he actually hadn't made a decision, and it was almost like as he was stepping up to the ball to take that second penalty kick, he changed his mind. He was unsure, and that's why he just launched it over the goal. I really think he did it to himself.
Oh God, it's just I feel sorry for him, and you're like, don't feel sorry for him. It's his fucking job, but
it is his fucking job.
It is his fucking job, but it's all of the pressure of your entire fucking team and your entire country and fans around the world to save the entire game by just being the only person who can score goals because of penalties. I just feel sick. I feel it's too crazy. It's too much for one person. But of course he signed up for it. So
is there anything that comes to mind for yourself that was a high pressure situation where you either did or did not deliver and it was all on your shoulders like that?
Oh, you know what? We all have 100 moments like that in life. I can't think of anything specific right now, but I can think of a couple of weirdly life or death situations where I felt under major fucking pressure to do something in that moment and make a choice. And whatever way it goes, it's that moment of pressure.
Yeah.
Is be in therapy for the rest of your life for that shit.
He will be. It'll haunt him.
Yeah.
I tweeted about it, but I truly believe it because I've had it happen to me. There will be a moment where he's eating a croissant or something and it will just bubble up in his brain and he will let out the loudest fuck you have ever heard in your life. And it'll be out of nowhere. It will make no context, but it could not be kept in his throat and his body had to get it out.
He'll just be remembering it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Truly. And I'm sorry if I hurt anyone's ears with that fuck. I tried to lean away from the mic, but I know that feeling. And
because you found yourself doing that in your fucking apartment or whatever.
Man, I will never. Yelling a fuck.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so many times, especially over sports stuff.
Remembering things from your sports
I
days.
remember clearly a penalty shot. The guy's nickname was Sharpie. His last name was Sharp. An amazing winger. Amazing. Long, lean arms. So you could really float the puck to him. And his reach was so much longer than a defender's.
Did you say he was a winger?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so you could really throw it down the rink to him and his long reach would outreach a defender and then he would speed by him. Just a dynamite player. And he had one move and he would either go to your blocker side or your glove side, but he would put his stick around the puck. He would circle the puck, fake one way, and then put it the other way and roof it to the top corner. And he was either going to go blocker side or glove side. And he always did it. And I remember we were tied 3-3 and he had a penalty shot on me because he got hooked from behind. And I was like, I think he's going to go blocker. And I was like, fuck it. It's a 50-50 shot. I'm just going to commit to blocker. He did it. He went blocker side. It hit my blocker and hit the bottom of the crossbar and dropped right over the line to win 4-3.
Oh.
I guessed right and I lost.
And you yell fuck about
And
that.
I still yell fuck
at
about
2
it.
in the morning eating like popcorn at your house.
1,000,000% I do. 1,000,000% I do. Because it's one thing to guess wrong
Mm-hmm.
and be like, damn it, what are you going to do? But it's another thing to be correct and still fucking miss.
Ugh. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good place for us to say what's up.
Shit's real. What
Yeah.
up, Mary Jane?
How's it going, Mike?
Good. Welcome to Weed and Grub, everyone. This is a podcast about comedy,
Cannabis,
culture,
cooking,
calling shit out,
and missed calls.
missed calls.
And a bunch of other shit in this episode. But yeah, fuck.
I remember you talking about the World Cup, and I was, I think it was like, what would you do if you were a ref in the World Cup? Because they went to the, they had to check it on the screen to see if it was a penalty or
He had
not.
to leave the field.
Yeah.
And I mean, and everyone has been calling that referee from that particular match like fucking heinous and, you know, he, whatever, and unhinged. I think I read was one tweet about the unhinged referee. But I was like, man, if I were a referee, I would just be running around screaming what's going on and then throwing up every time someone gets hurt because like, oh man, there was one, and it wasn't even that bad, but like one of the players, I can't even remember who it was. I think it was on England's side, went down with like a weirdly twisted knee. And I was just like, nope. And I turned to the wall and I was like, just tell me when it's over. Tell me when it's over. And you're like, he's fine. He's like, and I was like, I can't even with sports injuries. I remember that fucking Moises Alou broken ankle.
Oh my God.
Is before a lot of people's time, I think, probably listening to this because it was legitimately like in the 90s. But when he broke his ankle sliding into second base, his foot hit the bag and his leg kept going.
Yes.
And I remember, and it was just like a TV at that point. There wasn't even any fucking internet as far as I remember, but it just was replayed everywhere all the time for, I don't know, a year. And I was just like, every time I cannot. So
I love it too because as a referee,
I can't.
Your job is just to call the fair, correct game, but you can't handle.
Nope. Can't look at it, and I don't know the rules, so I would be a terrible. I'm like offside. Interesting. What is? Ooh, the corner. Cool. That looks fun. And I've been watching soccer for a while. Like I love soccer. I've always watched the World Cup, and you know we went to a game in fucking London this year. Like,
Tottenham.
Yeah, fucking Tottenham
Where's my
Hotspurs.
hat?
Like saw it for, in person. Love it. Also just am constantly a little bewildered.
Yeah.
But it's because I don't care enough to like really learn.
Well, that's who Harry Kane plays for.
Yeah.
Is Tottenham. So
So
we
we
got
saw
to see
him.
him live and he got a great assist.
Yeah. Got to see him before the darkest day of his life. Sorry,
Truly.
Harry. Can we talk about for a second the guy who watched that particular missed penalty kick at the bar that we were at? Shout out Village Idiot. And
Is this what you put on your Instagram story?
yes.
Fucking go off, Mary Jane.
So we were like crammed into this bar. So lucky to have been let in the side by the fucking general manager who's a friend, and like just found a little spot to stand. And so we would really like had some pretty good real estate because there was nothing between us and the TV. We were watching in this very, very back corner. But when that penalty kick came up, this guy got up from his seat and then positioned himself in front of us to watch, which is fine. But then he put his arms up behind, so his hands were clasped behind his head with his elbows out as far as he could make them. And this was like a stress position for him. Like he was bracing for impact. He was very concerned about this, how this was going to go. And, but he was right in front of me. And I was like, if I were like a moderately aggressive dude, I would punch you in the back of the fucking head right now.
Yeah.
Also, you're an only child. Like this guy does not have a younger brother or older brother or any
You
sibling.
mean because of the self-awareness or someone to put you in your place during that time?
You would never stand in front of someone who is watching the same thing that you're watching and directly. It's not just by being tall and like you put your arms up in a weird move and had no awareness. I don't think he was being a dick. I mean, he was obviously being a dick, but he was not intentionally trying to block our view.
Yes.
Oh my God, dude. And I didn't say anything to him because I don't know, I wasn't as
Well, you
invested
pulled out
in
your
the
phone
moment.
and instead took a secret video of him and put
I
it
wasn't
on.
taking a video of him. I was taking a video of the penalty kick, and then he moved into frame
Oh,
and stood in front of me.
whoa.
And I was like, wow, this is wild. So I'm just going to record the whole thing. He didn't put his arms down until the kick was missed. Whatever. It's I just was like truly fucking like, I marvel at the security that you physically have to take up that amount of space when there's someone directly behind you who's looking at the same thing.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
That kind of lack of self-awareness, I think, is why I wouldn't mind if the human race went extinct.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, surrender cobra. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, that's the move. Like you
Oh.
have that cobra move right here. Like you know
Okay.
what I mean? Hands behind the head. That's the surrender cobra. Yeah, thank you, Mark. Those are the reasons when I'm like, if it's been a good run for humanity, like it's because like we don't all have the self-awareness gene, and
Right.
and you weren't taught it at an early age, and you're certainly not going to change now. So
I guess,
maybe
yeah.
we shouldn't be around.
Maybe you shouldn't. Like, it's so, you said something about a group of people that we were hanging out with recently. You were like, they're all such reasonable people. And I was like, they are. They don't have any needs that they can't meet themselves. And they're hyper aware of everything and everyone around them. So they just feel like fully self-contained, self-actualized human units just moving around the earth. And it's just so nice when people are like that. And to have this guy, he was like, it's so unreasonable. Like, what?
His legs were like the width of two horses.
Yeah.
Like he took up all the space in the world, not only with his anxiousness, but with his physical presence.
And I can't imagine moving into that position without, at the very least, just glancing behind you to be like, I am in a packed bar. It's not like you were standing alone in a field.
Yeah, that'd be very funny.
I don't object to that.
Like if you were a superhero and you just opened a portal and threw him into a field, that would be the shit.
You can stand like that over there, buddy, but not here in front of me. Thank you.
Funny enough, he's the kind of referee you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
The guy who can't handle it.
Fuck out of here.
Also, I understand that kind of anxiety when you're watching your team, but I also don't trust that kind of person as a friend of mine. I think you can be nervous and you can be gung-ho, but what you're showing me in your physical body is that you cannot handle pressure. Even when the pressure is actually not on you, you are just unable to handle the idea of pressure.
Yeah.
I can't fuck with that kind of person, man.
Yeah.
I don't trust you in a situation where I might need to rely on you.
Yeah, you need to put a lid on it and just calm it down. Everybody needs to be chill and cool and take up your own space and be proud of that. But,
I think that's funny because it ties into our news story this week with Brittney Griner.
Oh, yeah.
Because as soon as it was announced that she was being released,
Yeah.
this really funny guy on Twitter, his name's Noah something, tweeted and goes, ugh, just my luck. Brittney Griner's sitting in front of me at the movie theater. And I thought that was like a very like cute tongue-in-cheek way of being like, welcome home.
Yeah, that's fucking nice. Well, let's get into the news. Let's shout out to the weed we're smoking this holiday week, too.
Well, I have a really bad ear infection and I'm deaf in my left ear. So what are you smoking this week, Mary Jane?
I'm sorry about that, Mike. I hope you get that looked at real soon.
I'm not going to. I heard it can become meningitis and then I can finally...
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that for a while and have
Get
you have
some
meningitis.
attention.
I was just thinking like maybe you could just go home and like put your plunger on it and do like a, what is it? How do you do the sound? No, the other one, the pop. There you go. That's what you need to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I need that. Yeah. Can I plunge the bacteria out of it? Well, I got it when we were in the Virgin Islands.
Snorkeling.
And I'd never snorkeled before and
Yeah.
I'm hooked.
Yeah.
I'm hooked. But also my ears are so big and they stick out so far that they really scooped up a lot of water.
You think it's size related?
I do. I think I'm kind of known for my wide ear holes.
Oh, cool.
And the ocean saw a fucking hole and took advantage
You
of
just
it.
brought some of that BVI home with you,
I
huh?
sure did. It's sloshing around in my fucking spinal cord.
Wow.
Yeah, it's underneath my skull case right now.
Oh, well,
So I don't know what to do about it, but it's not healing. It's getting
I
worse.
think my answer for you would be go to the doctor.
What are they going to do?
We're just going to leave that there for you.
Okay.
We're smoking a Golden State, or I'm smoking a Golden State right now. Shout out a Golden State. Give them a follow on Instagram. They're at a Golden State. And this is their first GMO cross strain. It's called Garlic Blossom. It's a back cross of gelato and GMO. I don't even know how to read that.
It smells so good.
It's really nice. It's like nutty and I don't know, lemony, and it's delicious. And it's their holiday hybrid. I don't know when they dropped this, but it was provided in a lovely gift box with some other strains too. So
yeah, it's a holiday drop.
Yeah.
Shout out to Nishant.
Yes.
Shout out to Simone. Good folks. Good
cool
weed
stuff. They're working on weed policy behind the scenes too. Their company is carbon neutral. Like they do everything they can to reduce their carbon footprint. The weed is grown using water from snowmelt on Mount Shasta. It's all very like nice and copacetic, and the weed's great.
Mm-hmm. I love any type of flower where you're using the earth to create more good earth.
Yeah.
And that's what a Golden State is. It's like, yo, let's just use a mountain. Like, why am I going to go get some Dasani when I have a mountain right there? Like, what are we talking about?
And this wasn't even an ad. We just like you guys. So shout out, guys.
Yeah, true that. Well, do you want to do an ad?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do an actual
Okay.
ad.
Let's do an ad.
Okay, shout out SUMO Snacks.
What's up, Sumo? Thanks for supporting us all year. It's been so cool to rock with them. Go to fun events, meet some of the cool people behind the brand, eat their fucking delicious line of all the flavors. They just came out with a churro flavor for the holidays.
Oh, what word?
Yeah, it's so good. And they've got the collab with Snoop Dogg, which you can see if you're looking at our YouTube. You can see all of their beautiful packaging right behind us.
Yeah, so, if you mess with Snoop Dogg,
Eat
and
Snazzalos.
eat Snazzalos. I just love that, like, somebody who wants to, like, support our podcast is also fucked with by Snoop Dogg. Like, I can't think of a better way to, like do an advertisement for something than to say, like, thank you for supporting us, Sumo. Also, if Snoop Dogg fucks with you and you two have a collab together, what are we talking about?
They're just into what's cool. They're supporting all sorts of, like, comedy and stuff next year. I know they're just, like, around and doing cool stuff. So it does feel very cool to have that, like, highbrow and, middlebrow. What are we?
Unibrow.
Monobrow. brow.
Or unibrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so go to sumosnacks.com, get a free sample. It's unmedicated, but who doesn't want some fucking free delicious chips?
And then you can pick up the medicated version at any dispensary in California. I think they're statewide right now.
Yeah, or go to Mary Jane's place and she's got a couple bags in her
Yeah,
pantry.
come on over.
Mhm.
I'm between on Meow Street.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah. Let's do our news.
It's such a big news story.
It is. Brittney Griner is home.
I am. Well, how do you want to approach it? Do you want to talk about our personal opinions, or do you want to talk about the facts first? Because I am, like, so over the fucking moon about this finally happening, but also there's, like, so much to get into about politics and policy and, like, the two sides arguing about something that I don't think should be argued about.
Yeah, I don't want to get into that at all.
You don't?
No, I don't care about that at all. It's like politicians being politicians and each side saying a thing that the other side disagrees with, and one side is right depending on who you believe in,
Yeah.
Like, obviously, it's an incredible thing that she was brought home, and anyone who's saying that it's not, or that someone else should have come home first, needs to really look at the whole story and understand why she was the one to come home now, and just be fucking happy about it.
I've seen.
Or maybe you want to get into it. I'm sorry, that was a bit of a me talking for a while ramble.
Well, keep going. I mean, it was over 200 days. It was over 200. I think even over 250 days.
Yeah.
And so to come home with the holidays, see her wife. I've been very hard on Joe Biden, I think, his entire term. And you have gone to bat for him. And I'm like, fuck that old dude. He looks like he has marzipan pulled over his skull. I do not trust him. I don't like him.
Yeah.
And I've got to go back on all of it. It took time. He did it his way, but I do think he is doing some really great things right now that I have to at least step back from my, like, what about this? What about that? And just say, like, I'm so glad that she's home.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that he is making changes in the weed world. And I mean, he still has marzipan skin, but, as long as he's got it, he's using it.
I think I would just say, I don't know if I have gone to bat for him, but I've just tried to provide a little context for some of this stuff that is going on. Like the weed stuff, everyone's like, he didn't fucking do enough. No, he didn't do enough. And he's, yes, the architect of all of those harmful policies that the fucking drug war was like enacting for the last fucking 40 years. All true. Also the first sitting US president to actually do anything significant about weed reform. So I don't know. I wrote a whole piece about it, about like, let's admit that this is a good thing. Let's just say that this is a good thing. Let's say it's a good thing that Biden brought Brittney Griner home. And yes, we need to get the other prisoners in Russia home. And we also need to let everyone in America who's serving time for weed out. But this is, if you do pull back that little bit, you can just say it's a great thing. And then weirdly, there are people saying it's not a good thing and that she should have stayed over there and continued to fucking be imprisoned in a penal colony. And that to me, I don't even know who these people are, where they're coming from, but what the fuck?
Well, the penal colony part terrifies me. I can't even put myself in her shoes, nor should I try to, I don't think, to even try to understand like what that was like. The argument that I'm hearing a lot that I'm really struggling with is the reap what you sow argument.
Yeah.
The idea of like, well, you brought that stuff over
Fuck
to
around and find
fuck
out.
around and find out. And I struggle with that because I understand what they're saying, and it's hard for me to have a defense against that part of it. And I wish I did, because I don't like the idea of fuck around and find out. I don't like the idea of like, well, those are the consequences, because I guarantee most of those people who are making that argument have also fucked around and gotten away with shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, you're being a bit of a hypocrite. I just can't prove it.
Yeah, exactly. Or you can prove it if you had the fucking energy to just go and dig something up. Like, fucking Trump was like, why didn't they get Paul Whelan out? Paul Whelan was imprisoned when you were president. My orange friend.
Is that right?
Mango Mussolini. You fuck.
You sherbert
You
bitch.
diapered, shoe lift wearing, fucking Adderall sniffing bitch. Shout out Noel Kassler, who was one of our guests last year in 2021, who worked for Trump for several years and had some fucking awesome inside stories. So go listen to that app, just in the sidebar.
I didn't know, but it makes perfect sense. I just didn't put two and two together that Paul was under, like, during the Trump administration.
He was imprisoned during the Trump administration.
Right.
So for Trump to come out and be, it's a fucking travesty that Brittney Griner came home before Paul Whelan. Dude, you did nothing about, what are you talking about? Just shh. But yeah, and then there were people, can we talk about that Instagram thread for a second that you had going?
Yeah, I have that pulled up.
That would be,
So for the other thing, and I'm sure so many people already have read this on Twitter or whatever, but the idea was, how can we trade this is what I'm reading, not what I'm saying.
Okay.
How can we trade a WNBA basketball player for the merchant of death, a fucking arms dealer?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not a fair trade. We're putting danger back into the world for what? For somebody who can dunk? Give me a break. Like, that's what everyone was saying, is like, this is a bad trade for America. And then this person came out, Amon M, at Amon M, and said, I've been thinking a lot this week. Actually, let me give them a little more credit. They're on MSNBC. I've been thinking a lot this week about the Brittney Griner exchange and trying to understand why some people are disappointed in the swap, saying it's not a fair trade and somehow we lost because we gave up a ruthless arms dealer for a Black American female athlete. Russia wanted a ruthless killer. We wanted someone who made a mistake either intentionally or accidentally. In other words, we valued the life and freedom of a Black athlete. Russia valued a man who traffics death. This doesn't make us weak, it makes us strong. Think about what Griner's release represents to Americans and what Bouts, who is the merchant of death, what they represent to Russia. There's something profoundly strong in setting an example by saying we believe every American, whether they make mistakes or not, has incredible value and deserves our support when they're unjustly held. Russia values killers. We value basketball players. In other words, your importance and your value to our government are not derived simply by how you function and play for the U.S. government. Russia wanted their release because he represented and served a strategic interest in their country. We wanted Griner to be released, even though it does not serve any strategic objective to the U.S.
Wow.
Fucking well said.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
Beautifully rethought and then articulated, right? Like, no, flip it on its head. It's, look at what we value. I love that. That's a great fucking take. And thank you for sharing that, because it is really hard to articulate. I find myself just like kind of wordless with rage because I'm like, well, what are you talking about? Like, I don't even know where to start with how fucking crazy it is that you're saying anything about her other than thank God she's home. Now let's get to work on all the rest.
Yes.
That for me is the only take. So thank you for that. Gives me a good argument the next time I'm scrolling one of the apps and see someone fucking spouting off nonsense.
I would almost love some kind of like time between a big choice being made, like her release, and anyone allowed to say anything online. Like, there needs to be some kind of breath of time. Yeah. Like, but what about is illegal. Like, it's an illegal thing to say, but what about?
Right.
You're not allowed to until you take 3 days and you simmer the fuck down, and then you can come out with a well thought out thread. But as soon as her release happens, you're not allowed to tweet some fucking, but what about Paul? But what about Merchant of Death? But what about any of that? Nope. 3 days, illegal. It's like a reverse purge where you have to purge yourself before you're allowed to go online.
I fucking love that. I would love if you had to like read the measured, Associated Press or fucking Reuters or whatever article about it. And as you read it, it does a retinal scan. And then that retinal scan logs the date and time. And then you're not allowed to log into any of your social media apps or maybe even into your email. Who the fuck knows? I think 3 days is reasonable.
3 days.
72 hours?
Yes.
Yeah, and then you can scan your retinas and then you can say whatever you want. If you want to be a racist fuck.
Absolutely.
or whatever the fuck it is you're saying, you dumb. Yeah.
Yeah, you're allowed to have freedom of speech, but not for 3 days. That's my pitch.
Cool.
On either side.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Because my other point, and I tried it as a stand-up bit, and it went fine, but
Okay.
who cares? Was the
Are all
idea?
your stand-up bits just good ideas?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great.
I'm what is known as a clever comedian.
Great. Yeah.
Everyone doesn't laugh out loud, but they nod in
And then
appreciation.
they write it down. Note to self.
Yeah, I sold out a theater. How was it? We made a lot of points.
Yep. So I feel informed. I'm sorry I stopped you.
I'm sponsored by the New York Times crossword puzzle
Yep.
and Webster's Dictionary.
Great.
Come see a show.
Mhm.
And but my thought was like, I mean, the Merchant of Death is also like, he's not the Merchant of Death anymore. That dude has been in jail for 14 years, so give me a break. He doesn't even know.
I disagree.
He doesn't even know
Nope.
what's out there.
I feel he's the same fucking guy. Always, he's Merchant of Death. They gave him that like oddly cool nickname whenever it was, and it's just like Hulk Hogan or whatever. Like you're just that guy. You're just a much worse version of whatever that is. Like,
Oh, you think he's
you know.
jumping back in 2 feet?
I think the fact
Full
that Victor
force?
Boot is now like fat and old doesn't mean that he's not going to go back to being terrible immediately.
Oh, I was hoping he would just like retire,
Oh, you
kick
think
his
he's going
feet
to like
up.
go eat pasta in the fucking
Yeah.
Sicilian seaside or
Yeah,
something?
until Putin flies in, he's like, "We need you for one last gig," or
No,
like
I
whatever.
think he's
it
going
is.
to go back and be, doing his whole thing.
You do?
Yeah, that's what they do.
Well, then we can snipe him with a drone like we do everyone else. Like
Okay.
now we can kill him from afar like
Right.
we do all the time.
That's right. We couldn't kill him when he was in federal lockup.
Exactly.
can
Now
just-
we can just snipe that bitch.
We can nail him.
Uh-huh.
All right.
And I hope Brittney. No, I don't want to say anymore. Okay.
Okay.
That's our news story. And I am so glad that Brittney Griner is released. And
Yeah.
I know you are as well.
Fucking welcome home. And truly, I mean, what an amazing dream guest Brittney would be someday. Maybe we can have her on this podcast.
I would love to.
It would be a fucking,
Yes, please.
that would be a goal. Goal. Do we have any more World Cup stuff to talk about? Or are we moving on to our next segment?
Let's move on to our next segment
Okay.
because we don't know who won the World Cup yet. So I'll have more to say once we see if
Right.
Argentina ends up winning.
Yep. Maybe Argentina versus France.
I hope
Maybe.
so.
Maybe that'll be the matchup.
I
We'll
really
see.
hope so.
When England lost to France, I had been making fun of France the whole game and their red leg coverings and their dumb red legs. And then the second France won, I was like, well, I guess I'm voting for them. I'm rooting for them now.
Such
so.
a sport fan.
I'm, listen, I'm the easiest, most available fan. I will vote for you for a fucking pretzel. I don't care. Vote. Root. I don't even know. Vote for, root for, watch the game with. I don't care. I don't care at all. I'm there for the snacks. Okay. Are we talking about White Lotus?
Sure.
I haven't watched it. It is the greatest fucking theme song of all time. I did watch the first episode of season 2, and then I've read the recaps of all the rest because I'm a lazy fucking bitch. So I do know what happened.
I
But I
think
haven't
that's a
watched
great
it.
way to watch TV is to read it. That's awesome, Mary Jane.
I couldn't stand being left out, and I just didn't feel like watching it because it just kind of like it stressed and bummed me out in a funny way that the season 1 did not. I loved season 1 and waited like every week so much. I was so excited to watch it. And this season, I don't know what it was. I was just like,
I know what it was for
stressed
me.
out.
I didn't enjoy this season either.
Okay.
I actually I will make fun of you for only reading the recaps, but I did for 3 episodes towards the second half because I
Okay.
didn't want to spend an hour, 10 minutes
Right.
watching people who don't want to be there lie and treat each other like shit and be miserable. Like that wasn't entertaining to me. And I wasn't watching it with people who, had I been watching it with people who find that to be a comedy, like because Jennifer Coolidge,
Yeah.
I know so
God.
many people who tweeted about it and they were like, this is a very funny season. And had I not watched it alone, maybe I would have found the humor in
I
it.
think I needed to watch it with someone. Yeah. I wish like I'd been watching it with you because I have such a great time watching TV with you, like smoking a joint or whatever, watching a show and like stopping it to talk about it and doing all that kind of stuff. I've never done that really like before, like breaking TV down. And I think since moving to LA and being more interested in like how it actually fucking works, doing that with you is so fun.
Yeah.
And it's given me a new appreciation for watching TV, but like
I'm not great at watching TV.
Mm.
I'm great at watching 10 minutes and stopping it and talking about it with
Mhm,
somebody.
mhm.
That's where the most joy in TV. Like when we sit as a family, like my family's coming to visit, and I know if we watch a movie, it's silent for 2 hours.
Oh, yeah, that's how
as
I-
we watch the fucking thing,
Right.
and I'm aching to pause it. Remember when we watched that movie with Walt?
with Walt and his daughter Maya last Thanksgiving, we watched Con Air and weren't thinking, got stoned, turned it on, talked through the whole thing. And Walt is so nice. he didn't say anything, but afterwards I was like, I'm pretty sure that wasn't fun for him.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I was just like yapping with you about
Oh.
like cinematography and
Bass explosions or Bruckheimer explosions or whoever's the director. Yeah, we yapped through the whole thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I watch TV. You read it and I talk through it. We're great hangs. We're great hangs.
Well, I'm going to go and watch White Lotus, I think, just to see Jennifer Coolidge's performance because she's so legitimately genius on every level as a physical. Like, I've been watching a gif of she does a little run on a boat and everyone's tweeting about it. And they're like, look at this moment. I'm like, yeah, I need to go watch that. But
yeah, but the
yeah.
season was not for me.
Okay.
I didn't like it because of the I needed some levity and I needed one character besides Jennifer Coolidge to be funny
Yeah.
and do anything except be a fucking bitch and a cunt.
Honestly, I couldn't stand the assistant. That's why I think I didn't want to watch episode 2 was because she was so exhausting.
Yeah, nobody liked her.
Yeah.
Which is why I liked her the most,
She's
actually.
the best at her
I
job.
loved her. I thought she nailed exactly what the feeling was supposed to be.
Oh, the actor did the best job, but she was, I can't remember her name, Haley something.
Yeah, and Portia's her character.
Yes. But she, it's just that like, yeah, I don't want to watch you be the way you are. I don't like it.
Wow.
And that's why I'm watching CSI because it doesn't require anything of me, including an opinion.
When I think for something like White Lotus 2, that I really loved about the first season that I didn't love about this season was the first season had me on tender hooks. Tenter or tender?
It's tenter, actually.
I thought it was as well.
Weirdly.
Tenter hooks.
Yeah, you would think it would be tender, but it's tenter.
About who was going to get killed, who was going to commit the murder, who was angling to do the murder. And I really continually forgot about the murder in this season because everybody was playing such like low stake petty games with each other emotionally that I started to want all of them to die instead of loving any of them enough that I hope they didn't die.
Right.
And I think in the first season when Armand,
he's like the hotel manager.
The hotel manager, when he's the one who gets it in the end, I'm so bummed. He did cocaine and ate a fucking dude's asshole. Like, I am a fan of
He pooped in a suitcase.
He's shit in a suitcase.
Oh.
Yo, I don't want him to die.
Yeah.
I want him to continue to shit in suitcases and eat ass for the rest of his life.
What a wildly great depiction of an absolute fucking villain, trash person who you really root for and like and feel sorry for.
Yeah.
And empathize with.
Exactly. And I was really missing that from White Lotus season 2.
Okay.
So I think for me, if they're going to do a third season, bring back some suitcase shits. Bring back some cocaine. Bring back some like characters that are abhorrent and I love.
They got to be abhorrent.
Yeah.
Rich people. That's it. Rich people not really suffering any consequences for being terrible people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I want you to shoot it in Branson, Missouri.
Oh.
Or Miami, Florida.
Okay.
Like I need some trash. I need some sandals being carried as people are hammered. I want some like saltwater taffy.
Okay.
I want one of these rich people to put a penny into a penny crusher and see what it looks like to come out the other side.
Okay. I was going to say I want them to go somewhere really fucking cold. There's this place in Sweden called the Ice, or maybe Norway. Anyway, it's an entire hotel that they make out of ice and it's crazy expensive to stay at. And the beds are like blocks of ice covered in furs.
Whoa.
And the whole thing is like carved out of ice. And it just sounds crazy cool. And I've always wanted to go there and I think it's really expensive. So maybe White Lotus could be there and everyone's like dressed in fur and like,
It's cool. Yeah, but then
Under
you're
the
not going to see
Northern
hot bods. That's why you should watch the second season, honestly. The dudes' bods are crazy hot.
Okay.
Crazy hot bods.
All right.
Like the 6-packs are 8-packs.
I did see, Ethan with
gutters.
the shirt off is pretty fucking hot.
It's crazy.
Cum gutters. Oh yeah, those little lines next to your wang. Is wang a weird word to say?
Before we move on, do you want to rank dick slang?
Sure.
What's like top like top 3 dick slang?
I say dick.
Okay.
Then cock when you're in like a sexy situation maybe, and then wiener to be funny.
Okay.
That's my top 3.
So wang is not in your top 3.
I have no idea why I said that. I just got nervous.
Because wang is funnier than wiener.
Maybe. Not for me. I should have said wiener. Let's edit this out and go back and then we'll just replace me going wiener. Oh, schlong.
Schlong's funny.
Schlong's a good one.
Schlong's funny.
When I was in junior high, we used to say tube snake, and I thought that was pretty funny. That was that was like a grade 7 one.
That's really good.
Yeah, tube snake is pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trouser snake. Also?
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But tube snake's really good.
Yeah. So what you got?
I think wang is funnier than wiener.
Okay.
I think cock is the hottest thing for somebody to say to somebody else.
Yeah.
I think dick is so not vanilla at this point. It's just like universal.
It's also just like people's name.
Right.
You know, like
Yeah.
truly.
Yeah. So dick is kind of like out of the top 3 for me.
Right.
Because it doesn't hold much like gravitas like some other like unique ones like schlong or trouser snake
Schlong
does.
is funny.
Yeah. So so I think like wang might be my new favorite number 1.
All right.
Mark is also saying knob.
Oh, knob.
Knob's all
Slob
right.
on my knob. Yeah, knob
Like corn
doesn't-
on the cob.
Knob-
Check in with me
Mm.
and do your job.
Yep.
Lay on the bed
Weep.
and give me head.
Splash.
Don't have to ask.
Skirp.
Don't have to beg. Juicy is my name.
Oh, no. We got to stop. Please.
Sorry, I love Juicy J.
Jesus
3-6
Christ.
Mafia.
You were really just going to go if I didn't stop playing, right?
Yeah, true. But I liked your ad libs. Thank you.
Yeah, you know, splash. Knob is not, we can go move on from this, but I do just want to say that I don't think knob is evocative to me of a dick.
It makes me think of a tiny tree knot.
Yeah. If someone says, you know, that guy's such a knob, I don't think that of that necessarily as like dick related. I just think of it as like a dork,
Yeah.
you know?
Hey, fucking knob.
Mm.
Not a good accent?
Nope.
I tried.
Moving on. I have written down here, broth is for bitches. I
Broth
can't
is for
remember
bitches.
what that was about. Why?
Because you made a delicious carrot and ginger soup
I did. Thank
from
you.
no recipe.
That's right.
You wang it.
Go on.
Wang's a good one.
I wung
Wang's
it.
pretty good.
I wang. You think wang is the past tense of wing?
No, as in a dick name? Wang?
We just talked about this. Why are you going back to that?
Oh, I thought you... Did we say wang?
Yes.
Oh.
Are you losing your mind? Oh my God. Is everyone listening to this?
I have an ear infection. It's gotten into my brain.
Wow.
I have meningitis.
Okay. You might. I think we need to go to the doctor right after we record this.
You made a delicious carrot ginger soup.
I did.
If you want to talk about the recipe, then I will get into how broth is for bitches because
Okay.
it is truly spectacular.
There was no recipe. I love making soup. The best thing about soup is that you kind of can't fuck it up. You know, even if you put something that's like wrong and not delicious in there, then you can just add to the pot. It's fucking awesome. And I used to love making big batches of soup for myself and just having them on hand. And I got out of the habit. I don't know. I don't cook for myself nearly enough. And this week I was like, I'm going to do it. And I had a whole big bag of carrots and my crisper that I needed to use up. So yeah, it was just like onion, shallot, garlic, ginger, carrots, chicken broth, bunch of seasoning and spices.
Tarragon?
Labna. Nope. And then labna yogurt stirred in at the end, like per bowl. But the spices were cumin, coriander, cayenne.
Tomato. That's what I'm
and I
thinking
added a
of.
whole can of Marzano tomatoes as well. San Marzano, whatever they are. Anyway, and that was my soup, and it was really fucking tasty, and it felt good on my body, and yeah, so thank you.
I think the other thing that I loved about your soup was the use of a flavored crouton instead of a what are the plain crackers you put in New England clam chowder?
Like saltines,
Like saltines and oysters.
crackers.
That's
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And instead to use a seasoned crouton as that crunchy cracker was so good.
Those were left over from Thanksgiving. I bought some like dried Thanksgiving stuffing croutons, and so I'm just kind of using them on everything. It's like I've used them as breadcrumbs and salads. It's a delicious little hack. So thank you.
Yeah, great hack.
Thanks.
And I have been so staunch about my anti-soup campaign.
Right.
Friend of the show, Lisa Curry, texts me every winter and says, "It's soup season, bitch. Fuck you."
Yep.
And every winter I say, "You lunatic, who likes a soup?" And I don't mess with it. I think broth is for bitches, but I'm starting to realize soup has so many categories, and a creamy, dense soup
Yeah.
is actually really great. I don't like a thin broth. I don't like anything clear where I can see shit floating around.
I think you were traumatized by matzo ball soup as a kid, honestly.
Yeah, it's awful.
That's
Matzo ball
definitely-
soup is disgusting.
Don't you feel like that's where your fucking soup aversion comes from? It's like...
Yeah, the first one I had was a big ball of dough that tastes like nothing and a broth that is salt. So sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you guys did your family eat matzo ball soup when you were a kid?
They did.
Yeah. Cool. Okay.
Yeah. So I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that is probably where my soup aversion comes from. But a cream a creamed soup or some kind of like cheddar broccoli or a carrot ginger, I'm starting to come around on. And so I'm widening my soup scope.
Okay, I'm glad to hear it.
But broth is still for bitches.
Also, sorry I touched on the matzo ball soup. I don't know if that was a sensitive topic for you, but like I do feel like
oh no, Jewish food
could've
is disgusting.
just
mostly.
as easily been like a shitty chicken noodle or something, which it was for me definitely. Like it was that gross, weird, overly salty, limp noodled, fucking overcooked carrots, fucking nonsense swimming around in a salt pool. Fucking real bad. Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever had good chicken noodles. That's my problem is whether it's chicken noodle or matzo ball, what we're talking about is disgusting soup.
It's the broth. You're saying it's disgusting broth. Have you ever had a good wonton soup?
No.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah.
But why would I do that instead of like a tom kha or a...
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like
a
there's
creamy...
a particular type of soup that you don't want, and it would be the broth kind.
Yeah. Me and your cat, Bobo.
Yep.
We're the cream team.
You're the fucking cream boys.
Yeah.
Bobo is a fucking crazy cream boy. You know that boy will get up on a table with his 90 million-year-old hips just to lick out his fucking Caesar dish.
Is that right?
He did that the other day. I found like he's so old. He can't walk.
Is he like 15, 16?
He is not. He's in his 20th year.
Okay, because you can hear his bones rattling before he gets to the door. It's like, I feel for him. I joke about it, but I also love the guy. So
he loves you. You're the only person who exists. He's like, why is she still here? It's, when you come over, he's like, get out. But truly, it's like if you took a bag of sticks and put him in a burlap sack and then put eyes on it. He is just a crazy bag of weird bones. He fell on my foot the other day, jumping off the stool that he likes to sit on, and he jumped onto my bare foot, and it was like having a king crab drop on him. He was like, the sharpness of all of him with the claws and the bones. Crazy. This old cat got up on my dining room table, no easy feat, just to get the Caesar dressing out of my salad bowl, just to lick it out.
So he could smell it as well.
Yeah.
Right?
He can't see and he can't hear, but he can smell and he can navigate height to get to lick a fucking cream anything.
I'm picturing that Predator heat vision where, you know what I'm talking about?
He could just smell the cream. Mm-hmm. And it's any kind of cream. It's Caesar cream. He gets his pill and cream cheese every day. He's on thyroid medication. So he loves that. Like ice cream, anything with like some kind of creamy jizz.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm kidding. But he's a cream boy.
That's awesome. Do you let him have that seize because of right, you have to. He's old and he's accomplishing a task. He's hunting.
So old. Although I will say he has a vet appointment the day after this comes out. I'll update you on it, but he's going on a special diet. And I'm also taking him in to see about his geriatric hips. And I think when he's on a limited diet, I'm just not going to be able to let him do that anymore. He, you have to like really limit what they have so the diet's effective. And so his cream days may be over, but we'll see. We'll see.
Will you please ask the vet and be like, he's kind of a creamer.
He's a cream boy.
Yeah.
He needs the creaminess. Yeah.
So can we get...
Dr. Ebling will, yes, I will ask Dr. Ebling if Bobo can continue his cream boy adventures.
Please, it's really important.
21st year and beyond.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he's going to live forever.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's wild. Well, I'm happy to, in the meantime, whenever I'm over, share my like ramen broth with him or something like that.
Yeah.
Totally.
He'd love that.
Okay, cool.
Moving on?
Yeah.
All right, we got a few more things to yap about. One of them is you got mad at Barnes & Noble the other day, and I wanted to hear about that because I didn't know exactly what that was about, but you were like steamed. You just texted me Barnes & Noble.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, we're going to get into it.
Man, fuck this country, man. I'm so sick of this shit.
What happened?
I always warn you. We've known each other long enough now that I always warn you, and I always remind you I get weird over the holidays. I get ornery. I get fucking anxious. I don't like buying presents for people. Mm-hmm. One, because I don't want to spend money because the government is making me through some bullshit tradition. I don't believe in FOMO, and I don't like peer pressure. And so I don't like the idea of like, you have to do this thing, otherwise you're a bad person. I suppose other people would say, Mike, it's all about making other people feel good. Giving and celebrating is a nice thing.
People might say.
People may say.
Mm-hmm. It's the act of giving that makes you feel good.
Some would say.
Go on, you're a great gift giver. You know it.
But so I went to Barnes and Noble because they have a good variety of things. I don't want to say books and such. I don't want to say too much because I did get some gifts for some people who listen to this.
Okay.
And I don't want to tip my hand.
Are you talking about fam, me?
Fam and you.
Mm-hmm.
But there I looked and they have a whole section that says highly recommended books.
Oh.
And it is every weed book you've ever seen. Bon Appetit.
Shout out Elise.
Mm-hmm. She just got into the Hall of Fame. Did you see that for edibles?
Yeah, in the Northeast Leaf magazine, Danny Danko wrote about his Hall of Fame. He's starting a Hall of Fame for edibles, and the first 10, Elise was one of them. It was fucking, yeah.
It's awesome.
OG shit.
And so I'm not going to name the other books because I don't know who they are and I only care about Elise.
Elise McDonough. Everyone follow her on Instagram. I think she's at Elise McDonough.
Yeah. But the fucking idea that this chain store in the middle of the Grove, which is one of the like wealthy fancy malls where they would rather shoot a homeless person in the head than take care of the homelessness problem. Like it's just like, we gotta make everything look pretty so people spend a shitload of money. And in the middle of that place, there's something that says highly recommended in a fucking chain bookstore, a national bookstore.
But why are you mad about it?
Because I can't smoke weed all over the country and Brittney Griner is going to fucking prison.
Right.
And we have all of this bullshit hypocrisy everywhere, yet I'm allowed to go into Barnes & Noble and get some cheeky fucking cookbook with weed and they're allowed to say highly recommended. And through all of that, people are still going to goddamn prison and taxes are out the fucking asshole and Ted Cruz gets to smoke a cigar and like have his wife rub his feet. Like, I hate all of it so goddamn much, and it drives me fucking crazy. And so I ended up like flipping the table over, and I pushed all the books off, and I said, "You're not going to get me." And I'm not allowed back, but I'm happy about it.
And that's why you've been hiding at my place for the last week?
Yeah.
Wow. Fucking heard on all of it. You know, I just realized what I'm going to get you for Christmas.
Prozac?
Prozac and a bunch of weed books. No, I was going to say an end to hypocrisy, but you know.
Oh, please.
If that were possible.
Yeah, make a coupon
so
I can cash it in.
No, I mean, fucking heard on all of it. Yeah.
It's so crazy.
Madly infuriating.
We have a guest coming up who we have a project that we've worked all fucking year to make amazing. And I'm not going to say much more because I'll wait for the episode because we haven't recorded it yet. But what keeps coming back to us is like, Toyota won't give us money. Or like, we could never put that on HBO Max. Meanwhile, there's some fucking book that is, making money for some faceless corporation with the exception of Bon Appetit. Well, even that's Vice.
Well, I don't know any of those. I don't know any of those
man.
Books that were on that table. I'm not mad at those books being available or people writing those books, but like, yeah, I see what you're talking about with the hypocrisy of Barnes and Noble making that a display with all of the things that you're talking about. Yeah, everyone should write a weed book if they have a weed book in them. There need to be more good weed books, in my opinion. Most of them are fucking stupid and hokey and, written by people who know nothing about weed, frankly. So again, Elise is like,
but what's the difference between writing a book about weed and
making a podcast about weed?
Anything that has to do with weed. Like, I don't like the this is okay
but
because
we
it's
do
a
it.
book. Right, but we also like smoke fucking weed and like do things to make the world a better place.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're getting into like some sticky territory about like what the motivation is behind those people who wrote those books about weed or whatever. And like I think I can focus on the issue that it feels hypocritical to have a big shiny display at Barnes and Noble while people are suffering because of the consequences of the fucking drug war still.
Yeah.
Fully heard on that.
What I should do is make a fake book cover. And have it be called Crystal Meth for Beginners.
You should.
And then it should have a crock pot on it and a bunch of crystal meth sticking out of the crock pot and put that over a book and put that on the Barnes & Noble table and see what happens.
I think that would be an awful thing to do because then that would be equating weed with crystal meth somehow. And that would be not great. But you are making me think of I think it would be a funny bit. And maybe aside from
I'm just trying to make the point of like, where's the line? If this thing is like Schedule 1 federally and it's like being equated to heroin, then where's the books about that shit?
I see the point that you're trying to make. I just think that if you actually did that the right wingers would leap upon that as an opportunity to say that weed equals crystal meth. And that's not the case. And that's certainly not what you're trying to say. IMO.
Right.
right?
Well, yes, except I'm trying. Yeah, I see.
Do you
this
see
is
what
where
I'm saying? Like,
I-
if I was a right wing asshole and I walked into or a right wing person and I walked into Barnes and Noble and I saw a table of books with weed on it, and then there was one that said crystal meth, I'm immediately going to use that as a talking point for my bad people who use drugs. You know what I mean? It's just not, I don't think it's going to work as a joke. I'm sorry to deconstruct your joke and make it not work. I'm going to be quiet about it now because you were mad and then you were funny. I don't need to talk.
but my angle. But what you're also making me think of, and I don't want to like go back on my like anger at this because I am angry about this.
Sure.
But what you're also saying is you could see this as a step forward in progress for
It's like Biden.
for the future.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like better than nothing.
Right.
Not ideal, but better than nothing. Maybe it'll make that, grandma from Oklahoma's granddaughter be like, oh, look, if it's on this display at Barnes & Noble, I can send it home to her and maybe she'll read it and understand me better as someone who likes weed or whatever.
Okay, new joke pitch. Instead of putting that book, Crystal Meth Crock Pottery, instead of putting that book in with the weed ones, you make a separate table
that says other drugs.
Great. And then you make that table to prove the point.
I think that's a very funny, good joke pitch. And I would work with you to make that happen as a joke.
Yeah. Like crocheting on heroin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meth crock pottery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
LSD yoga.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the other table next to
it's
that.
all the other scheduled drugs.
100%.
Great.
I think that would be good.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, cool. We got there.
We did.
We just have a couple more things to chat about before we wrap up this episode. I did want to just like slide in the moment the other night when we were going to order takeout. And I was like, I'd love to order Chinese. And then we were talking about dan dan noodles. And I was like, oh, fuck, I don't think I can have them. I think they have peanuts in them because I've always wanted to try them. But the couple of times I have, I was like, oh. And I think you just said to Siri, you were like, hey, Siri, do dan dan noodles have peanuts in them? And the result that Siri brought up was Kevin Dundon noodles. So whoever you are, Kevin Dundon, just please know that Siri, when asked about dan dan noodles, brings up your name. And you're like the first hit, like for the first 3 or 4 things that Siri brings up in, I guess, fucking Google. Does Siri use Google? I don't even know how.
Yeah, they probably mean, Siri was like, probably mean Kevin.
Yeah, you definitely mean Kevin Dundon, not the like famed, Siri's thinking right now, that's so funny. Famed fucking, delicious noodle dish. That does have peanuts in it, by the way, for anyone who is wondering about that.
It does.
Yes.
And it's delicious.
I would wish to eat them. So maybe I'll find a peanut-free recipe of not Kevin Dundon, but
I just looked him up. Do you want to know or not
noodles.
know?
I definitely want to know who Kevin Dundon is. Is he like an Australian football player or something?
You're so close. He's a beloved Irish chef out of Ireland.
Oh, what are his noodles? Are they like
Dundon noodles?
Dundon noodles. Okay. Is it an egg noodle?
But the idea that an Irish chef is more popular or
than like
of note.
a famous fucking noodle dish that I'm sure has been around for decades, if not centuries.
Yeah. So next time we go to an Asian restaurant, we should just ask for the Kevin noodles.
Yeah.
Is that what you think we should do, Siri?
Yeah. You have Kevin Dundon noodles here, right? Okay, we got to talk about burger stacking order as according to Apple and Google emojis.
Okay.
Big news.
Big news.
The stacking order on the burger on Apple emojis is different than the one on Google emojis. And only one of them, I think, is right.
Yeah, the other one, I think, is gaslighting us.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Google one, correct?
Yeah, so I'm just looking it up right now because it was a tweet that actually alerted us to this. It was Brian.
We'll put this picture in the thing.
I don't even know how to say his last name, but Brian Rommel, the hamburger emoji, a philosophic insight. And then he puts Apple above and Google. So the Apple burger has what looks to me like a kind of okay stacking, although it's weird that the lettuce is under the bun or the meat.
What's the order for the stack for an Apple emoji?
The stack on the Apple emoji has it has meat and then bun, lettuce, meat, cheese, tomato, bun. And that's okay, except the lettuce is in a weird place because you wouldn't put hot meat on top of cold lettuce.
Well, okay. I have my own opinions, but keep going.
Hold on though, because the psychos over at Google designed their fucking burger emoji to be bun, cheese, meat, tomato, lettuce bun.
That's fucking nuts.
The cheese is under the meat? Yeah. under the cheese on the bottom. What the fuck? Producer Mark's like, yeah, exactly. It's a fucking bunch of like loot. Don't trust them over there. If you work with someone who's one of these Google engineers.
Hey, maybe it's the people who created YoPlate with their goddamn fruit on the bottom.
Oh.
And then they were like, I know how to make a burger.
Yeah, good. True.
Idiots.
Yeah. Well, I like fruit on the bottom in a yogurt, though. I'm not against that. My favorite yogurt brand is Elenos out of Seattle. They're fucking amazing. And you stir in the fruit and that's on them. It's so good. So I don't agree with you on that. But I do think that, cheese on the bottom is insane.
It is insane.
Yeah.
So what is the quintessential cheeseburger hamburger order?
The stack for me.
Or the stack, yeah.
It's bun, straight up burger. And then usually some kind of like other, like if you're having cheese, the cheese, and then I like to get like fried mushrooms or fried onions on there.
No.
Are you just asking me what I want for dinner, Mike? Or
yeah,
what?
No,
Okay.
I'm saying like of those ingredients, tomato, lettuce, cheese, burger, buns.
Okay.
What is the order that makes sense? Because both of those have problems. The Apple one has problems. And the Google one has
The
problems.
Apple one has lettuce on the bottom. That's a fucking no-go. And the Google one has cheese on the bottom.
No-go.
Fucking insane. So for me, it's just bun, meat, cheese, lettuce, tomato, bun.
The lettuce and tomato go on the bottom of the meat and
I'm
cheese?
going from bottom up.
Oh, why are you going bottom up? That's so hard for me to put in my mind's eye.
Oh, weird. That's exactly how I think of it. Holy shit.
Whoa.
Wow, we've been doing this podcast a long time. And that's like, you think top down and I think bottom up?
Yeah.
Wow.
Whoa.
Whew. That's crazy.
So it's
okay. Top down.
Hold on. Here's Mark's.
Okay. Mark says bun. Are you going top down or bottom up? Oh no, it's drawn as is. Okay. So top down for Mark. Bun, lettuce, Tom Cruise, burger, bun.
Got it.
Wait, no, it's tomato cheese, not Tom Cruise.
But I like the shortening of it. That's fucking brilliant. Do you want Tom Cruise on that? Yeah, I'll take a little cheese and tomato.
Yeah, dope. Tom Cruise. And that's the layers it should go in. First Tom, then Cruise.
Uh-huh. Okay, so what about you from bottom up?
Bottom up. Oh, this is so confusing, but bottom up, I'm bun, meat, cheese, lettuce, tomato, bun.
Okay.
Which I think is the same.
No, his is
Oh,
flipped.
no, he is flipped.
The tomato and lettuce are flipped.
Got you.
Which is why I disagree with Mark and agree with you.
Okay.
Whoever is listening to this just took another bong rip to get through this part because it's the only way you're going to follow
what are you
the
talking about?
stacking order.
Yeah.
See, the thing, Mark, about having it go lettuce tomato is most of the time it is an iceberg lettuce and you need that lettuce to catch the juices of the tomato as you bite it. Otherwise, the juices of the tomato, but then the juice of the tomato soaks through the top bun, making it soggy. Holy shit. Holy shit. Now I'm rethinking my answer because I hate a soggy bun.
You got to toast that bitch.
You got to toast that bitch.
Yeah.
You do.
You got to have a toasted bun.
And we're not going to get into condiment sealants.
We didn't. Yeah, obviously. I'm
Obviously.
sorry. Mark is so funny. Yeah, you didn't want to hear about my fried mushroom game. You didn't want to hear about my caramelized onions. We didn't talk about fucking bacon or gorgonzola or any of those add-ons.
Right. This is just an emoji stack.
We're just talking emojis.
I have to, do I go with Mark or do I go with you? Because I agree with the cheese meat bun bottom.
Yeah.
But the trickiness of a tomato or a lettuce being on top. Normally I'd say tomato, but it soaks through the bun and I like how the juices catch in the lettuce.
Yeah.
But if you put the lettuce on top like a roof, it kind of protects the whole thing.
Right. Well, we'll have to get back to everyone after doing some in-person experiments with some stacking.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. What does everyone out there think? What's
Yeah.
the proper burger stacking order?
Yeah.
If you have a bun and you have a tomato and you have a lettuce and you have a cheese and you have a meat, what is your order and why?
Want to hear it? Hit us up at wg@wienergrub.com.
Yeah.
We have to wrap soon, so we have a couple of other topics that I would love to get to. After that was that our news segment?
That whole thing was our news segment.
Jesus Christ. Here we go. Hang on a second. Gonna open up this note. Would love you to chime in about what we're jumping onto.
Oh, well, I'm sorry that I shut down your gorgonzola and mushroom and actually how
Absolutely
you like a burger.
Fine. No.
I apologize
No,
because
it was our news story and I was going haywire. I was going crazy. I was going off ranch or whatever you call it. What is it?
Off the rails?
Off road?
Off road?
Where?
Off
the
Did
rails.
you say off ranch?
Off ranch, yeah.
I like that.
I don't know what I was talking about.
Off ranch.
Okay, we've got a couple more, but we really do have to wrap. So
I know.
We have a potential creamed corner or a potential question. I think we can do one or the other.
Well, do you want to call that burger situation our creamed corner? Because I have been on a burger tear recently. Or do you
Yes.
want to talk about the that list we saw of that one person's holiday?
I think we should just give them a shout out real quick as
Okay.
another part of, just like our food area here on this podcast. That, fucking Kamel. So at Khalid El Khatib, no, sorry, at K Melcat on Twitter, who his name is Khalid. He tweeted, "My mom's annual home for the holidays email to me and my siblings just dropped. An incredibly thorough, detail-rich look ahead at how it's possible for me to gain 15 pounds in 1 week."
It's the sickest list I've ever seen in my life.
It's-
I am inviting myself to his house.
It's gone super viral. Like everyone's loving this tweet because it's truly, if you haven't seen this, go and check it out.
It has
It's-
8,500 retweets, 5,000 comments, and 139,000 likes.
Yeah, it's just a breakdown. Yeah, Sunday all the way through Christmas Day of every single thing that will be cooked, served, and enjoyed, including like traveling to other places to eat delicious things out and home. It's the menu like for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's like there are places for people to weigh in with their thoughts. It's so thoughtful.
That they bolded
Mhm.
because that is still like an undecided meal.
Yeah.
So it's like we have to like
For
here on
Christmas
Saturday
Eve.
night. Yeah.
Khalid usually decides the menu. Let me know your thoughts. Ina's lasagna, deli sandwich with potato cheese soup, or other. Like, wow, your mom is fucking so thoughtful and such a like planner.
I love
Wow.
on Wednesday too. It says dinner out. Maybe we try pepper sprout or Morocco. Grandma can babysit.
Yeah.
Just every single thing taken care of. Also, big question: are we talking about Ina Garten's lasagna, or is
Oh.
there someone in the family named Ina who also has a delicious lasagna recipe?
I'm guessing that's a barefoot contest, a classic, but good question.
Right?
I'd like to know.
I would like to know too, because did we talk about engagement chicken on here?
I don't know if we did.
I don't think we did. So
Oh.
let's like
We'll get into
round
that
out
another
creamed
time.
corner
Oh,
really quick by just saying shout out to Wanamaka,
yes.
friend of the show,
Fuck yes.
who gave you a recipe, right?
Yeah, so we were just DMing about roast chicken because we were like, it's cold and I'm excited to cook and we're friends, who
the
do that kind of
idea
shit.
Of like, who are you talking to?
Yeah,
Who is that? A man? What's going on in your DMs?
just exchanging roast chicken recipes with a friend. And I can't remember what we were initially talking about, but yeah, it was about like cold weather recipes. And Jordan sent me Ina Garten's engagement chicken, so called because it was the chicken that I think Jeffrey proposed to Ina after he ate that her presentation of this delicious fucking chicken dish. And then also supposedly Meghan Markle made it for Harry.
Oh wow!
And we all know what happened there. They're fucking hitched as hell. So
yeah, and also they got $100 million Netflix contract.
oh, good.
Or something.
Spotify maybe.
Yeah, something.
Who knows?
Either way, it's because of the chicken.
They're fine. They have a lot of money because of a great chicken dish, but it's fucking delicious and it's really fucking simple. And it's so fun to make something that feels a little fancy but is easy. And yeah, I recommend. We'll put a link to that recipe in the show notes.
Okay, I also have a great picture of the chicken after it's cooked.
Uh-huh.
Crispy skin, lemon peels bubbling underneath it. So we'll throw that on the IG as well.
A little easy gravy in there. It's so good.
It's really great.
Oh, I think that's all we have time for this week.
Do you want to get to our question and then do Buds of the Week?
I don't know if we have time
Why?
because I have to go.
You do?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Look at you playing with your hands.
Yeah.
Okay. Understood.
We can cut that bit out.
Okay. Well, let's not cut that out. Let's just say we will answer this question. We got a bunch of questions on our IG. We will get to them. I started yelling about Barnes & Noble for too long, and that's my fault. So let's get to Buds of the Week and get you out of here.
Well, we've got some great episodes coming up where, we're just going to be hanging and yapping about all sorts of stuff. So we will be looking for questions to come in every week, I think,
Yes.
in the new year. So please, if you have questions about anything you are thinking about, wondering about, that you want us to give you advice about, it'll probably be weird, bad advice, but that's always entertaining. Just write to us, wg@wienergrub.com. Our new questions segment will debut in another episode because legitimately, my friend Natalie is making me a coconut fish bake tonight. And if I don't get to there in time, I'll fuck up her baby's bedtime, which is something you never want to do because she's a perfect baby. And Natalie's a fucking awesome friend. So that's where I got to go.
Okay. So is that your butt of the week as well?
Natalie is also my butt of the week.
Okay.
Yes. Good job.
And my butt of the week this week is Rodney Gardiner, who I met thanks to you and Natalie. He is a great comedian who we saw perform live. Follow him at The Talented Mr. Gardiner, and he is so talented. His bits, so freaking solid and so good. So if you're ever in LA, please come check him out and follow him at The Talented Mr. Gardiner.
And he was on the main stage at Ashland for like 10 years. He's a seasoned theater actor, and you can also see him in a bunch of stuff on TV. So he's definitely worth following.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is a great app. And if you have a name for our question segment, hit us up with that too, because I'd rather not think about it. And we'll mail you like a bunch of weed or something.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll call it something like, one of them rambled so long they never got to the question. Corner. Corner kick.
Corner kick.
Sidebar. World Cup. Thanks for hanging, Mike. This was really fun. I always love doing these Just Us eps. So
I do too. Let's do more of them.
let's do more of them.
All right. Leave a review. Follow us at email us, wg@weedandgrub.com. Our Instagram is at weedandgrub. More on that in the new year, actually.
Yeah, there might be a little
things.
refresh. We'll see.
Yeah. And also, if you're listening to this, come to my show at the Comedy Store, New Year's Eve, 8 p.m. It's going to be a banger. We're going to have a bunch of free weed. We're going to have a bunch of drinks. We're going to have a bunch of donuts. And we're going to have great freaking comedy. And then if you are in the San Francisco area at the end of January, come see us live as a part of San Francisco Sketch Fest.
February 5th at 4 p.m.
There you go.
Yep.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.